what it is? Brad Lea back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. I went to say knowledge, but I'm done with that because I found out there's no suppression on the word bombs. So welcome to Dropping Bombs, folks. As always, in the studio, I got a real treat for you. Gill Valerio in the house.
Yes, sir.
Now, Gill, get up on that mic as close as possible so you can sound thunderous.
There we go. How's
Folks,
that sound?
if you guys don't know Gill, you're about to. Gill Valerio cashed out of a little biz for the millies. And now he's like taking it to the next level in the M&A space, but within a specific niche, digital marketing. So let's go over the story. You're back. You're not a digital marketer yet, but right before you fell into it or got into it, let's start there. What were you doing?
Yeah, I had 3 gyms. I had a full-time job, and I had a wife with a baby on the way, and all of those ventures were pretty mediocre, I would say.
So you were like, you owned them, but you weren't making a killing.
Yeah, it was 2020. I opened my 3rd gym in October of 2019. And then we all know what happened in March of 2020. And I was in Chicago at the time. That's where I live. And I'm in Tampa now. But they shut all 3 gyms down for 90 days. So they were doing mediocre before they got shut down. And so you could only imagine what happened in that 90-day period. We got, almost wiped out. So that, ironically, is what led me to digital marketing. And long story short, I had to figure something out for my gyms. They were in trouble because we were closed. When we reopened, actually while we were closed, I started devising a plan on how the hell are we going to get people to walk into the gyms. So I started looking into digital marketing, and I connected with a large digital marketing agency that everybody knew. And so when we reopened, I worked with them for a little bit. It started working, and a couple months went by, and I was like, I'm paying these guys a ton of money. I think I can do what they're doing. And I took it over, started doing it for my gyms, and it worked well. I mean, it bailed me out. Like we were in trouble at that time. And so then I was like, well, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought, I'm a fitness guy. I always been into fitness. I thought open gyms, business, fitness, this is going to work great. And it didn't work great, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that business. But I loved marketing. I loved digital marketing. And so after I had some success, I was part of a franchise, and I figured I could sell this to other gym franchises. And that's what I started doing. And long story short with that, I signed about 15 gyms in the respective franchise that I was a part of. And I get a cease and desist letter from the franchisor that says, per your FTD.
Stop helping my franchisees, basically.
Yeah, right? Or stop helping them unless you want to give me some money, right? That's what it said, right? Unless you want to give me a cut. And
dick move,
right? And
see, hold on, just because this is a good point people need to understand.
Sure, yeah.
Like right there, dude, you may have had a completely different outcome and path had that organization been cool and said, hey, thank you, bro, for helping my franchisees.
Sure.
Like you're helping them.
Sure. Yeah.
Not, where's my piece?
Yeah.
Greed always gets
big
in the way.
Yeah, they were big, because I could sit here and say, you know what, they made a mistake because they would have maybe they could have negotiated a piece of the company, but that's a drop in the bucket for them. Regardless, though, I knew I was onto something, so I said, fuck these guys. I'm gonna fall out of this completely. I'm gonna scale down the gyms I'm working with. And I had one of my gyms that I owned had a chiropractor next door, and I walked into his office and I said, hey, who's helping you with your leads? Nobody. We had a conversation. Said, let me help you out. Started helping him out. He blows up quick. The results I got for the chiropractor were better than any one of my 3 gyms or any of the gyms that I worked with. So I did what any, new entrepreneur would do starting a new venture. I'm like, dude, do you know anybody else? Right? And he's like, I'm in a network. It's like coaching group with like hundreds and thousands of chiropractors.
Wasn't Sidecar, was it?
What's that?
Wasn't a thing called Sidecar.
No.
Because I have thousands of chiropractors on Lightspeed.
Really? Yeah. Shit. I still own equity in that company. So,
well, if they help chiropractors, dude.
Yeah, they're huge. They're at a conference in Orlando right now.
Dude, there's tons 600. Of chiropractors that are listening right now.
Yeah.
So
Elevate Marketing Solutions.
Well, I don't want to interrupt that, but
yeah, sure.
But that company you discovered, holy shit, I ended up helping these chiropractors.
Yeah.
And so, do you know any other chiropractors? And then you started blowing that up, and not even in the fitness space.
No, I moved completely out of the fitness space and went solely into chiropractic for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the cease and desist letter, but I felt there was more upside potential with chiropractors than there were with gyms, because when you think about a chiropractor, they're working with their patients. A gym owner might be chilling in the back just directing, organizing their gym, running the show. A chiropractor is working with patients, so they're too busy for this stuff. They don't have time. But if they're doing well, they have money and they have a problem. They need more patients. So he connected me with a few turned into 15, 20, 30. And, kind of the story goes on from there.
And next thing you know, you got a big digital marketing agency thriving, helping chiropractors generate leads, which, by the way, is still the case.
Yeah.
So if there's chiropractors listening, dude, reach out. You want more patients? This dude's figured out how to get them in a successful way.
Yeah, sure.
But then you said, now what?
Yeah.
See, that's what all good entrepreneurs do too.
Yeah.
So you exited.
I exited.
You sold that Elevate.
The majority of it, yeah. I kept a small percentage.
You technically exited.
Yeah, I exited the majority. I'm not in it anymore or anything like that. I advise when I can, but yeah.
So you got a big chunk of change, I assume.
Sure.
Actual cash out, not no bullshit.
No earn out, no paid overtime, check wired to my bank.
When the wire hit, did you play it for anybody else?
My wife. Yeah.
See, because when I started getting a little dough, I'd call people, and I'd call my bank, and I'd log in and let it say your balance is, and people would be like, "Dang, dude," and I'd be like, "I told you."
I told you. I got this superstition, man, and every time, like, I made a little bit of money in crypto at one point, and even when my business was blowing up, every single time I fucking shared it with somebody, and not in like a bragging way, just in like, even my brother, something bad always followed it. So now, like, my wife, I'll share obviously everything with, but I try to just shut up and stay humble.
Well, you know what?
God will punish you for stuff like that, I feel like.
Well, I agree and disagree with that statement, but I give you the bomb anyway. Why? Well, because, again, I mean, my overall advice to people would be, keep your mouth shut, because people don't want you to do well. They say they want you to do well, but they don't want you to do better than them.
Sure. Yeah.
So when you're running around just sharing, your excitement and, hey, kind of look, it always does seem to have some sort of negative back at you. But I don't think God will punish you for doing it, because, dude, that may be why you inspired one person to do something.
Sure.
And maybe that was God's intention. So
I think it depends on the energy you have behind it, right? If it's like, I'm just bragging to show you how great I am, versus like, I made this happen, you can make it happen, my life has changed, I'm grateful for it. That's a different type of energy, right?
Yeah. Totally. And it's all about energy, dude.
Sure.
That's what people don't understand too. Yeah. So I don't want to, I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to make that point.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So you got a big check.
Yeah.
You showed a few people and got a little guff. But at the end of the day, you had
that time when I sold the business, my wife, that was it. Video, showed her the bank account, the money hit. This is a great day. That was it.
Where'd you go? What'd you do? What'd you buy?
I bought her a new car. I got her a brand new Escalade.
Did you pay cash?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I sold. What's messed up? I sold the business at the end of the year, right? And so I went right away. I had like a week for expense purposes to buy the car, and so I buy the car. And then I find out, I talk to my tax person, and they're like, the way they wrote the paperwork, the deal actually isn't effective until January. So you bought the car on last year's expenses. And so they're like, next year you got to buy another car or something. So, yeah. So I bought a car. I chilled. I took her out. We went on, we grabbed a babysitter, went on some little vacations. And honestly, it wasn't even, spending money or anything like that. It was, I had been going so hard for so long. I feel like my stress level was just, and I had neglected her a little bit, my children a little bit. And so I just chilled, man. I slept in, I get up early every morning, go to the gym, go to work every day. I just slept in. I took it slow. I spent some time with them. We moved to Tampa. We flew back to Chicago. We spent time with family. Me and her went out down there, and I I just kind of soaked it in, you know. I felt like everything that, because it wasn't just the 3 years I built the agency. I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I've been failing and falling on my face for a long time. And so I just like try to sit back and be grateful and really like take in the moment for a little bit. And then it wears off like anything else. And then it's just money in the bank and you realize your life is the same and you know, start thinking what's next.
That's right.
Yeah.
So because you get used to it.
Yeah.
And it's like, now what?
Yeah.
Now I got some money. Okay. Well, in my mind, now I got some horsepower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I can really make an impact.
Sure.
So what made you want to exit in the first place or take a bite out of the apple?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's a crazy story. I wish I could say it was I'm a great entrepreneur and I knew the right time and I was ready to cash out and move on to the next thing. Something horrible happened in the agency. We got digitally hacked in mid 2023. And there was a moment where I thought we were done. Like we got hacked and then we got hacked again 45 days later. And these are legit digital hackers. What they do is if any digital marketing people listen to this, be careful. They hijack all your ad accounts and they set up e-com stores and they sell like women's pants or some bullshit like that. And they sell a bunch of product real quick and then they just shut it down and keep the cash. And so they hijack all the client ad accounts. This happened in mid 2023 and that kind of sent me like, oh shit, right? Not in a scramble to sell, but realizing like there's no certainty in this game. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what you built. Something can change tomorrow. And so that was part of it. That was what kind of like pushed me towards considering and looking what options were out there. And then, yes, there was another piece of me that was like, well, I love digital marketing and I'm still in that world. I knew there was bigger opportunities out there for me. And I knew that what you just said, I knew I needed resources and capital to go on the offensive. So it was like a combination of like a bad situation that pushed me. And then ultimately we got, you know, we regrouped, we came back together. We're all good. We lost clients and then we got them all back. So we were good. But that was what initially pushed me. And then eventually it was like, there's something bigger out there for me to do.
And what door opened to lead you down the M&A?
I didn't know for certain that was what I wanted to do. But after I chilled with the wife and took time off and spent time with the kids and let my mind clear out, I had a coach that I work with and we literally wrote down everything. Like I would put it on paper. Like, do I want to be a real estate guy? Do I want to be a private equity guy? Do I want to, you know, what do I want to do? And the first idea that I had, I was going to bring in a business partner and it ended up not working out. He's a great guy, but we ended up not working together. My original plan, just spur of the moment, was like help other agency owners make more money, right? Guide them, you know, help them avoid all the pitfalls and things that I went through, like getting hacked and losing money and making mistakes. Consulting, right? And then once I help them get to a certain revenue marker, become a partner of theirs and then partner together, build up this private equity portfolio or roll them up together and go make more money. I didn't know shit about private equity, but I knew that it felt like that made sense. But then I started to stray away from it for a lot of reasons. And then I started to think real estate and all these other things. And eventually, after sitting on it for a while, I kept coming back to it. So I was like, all right, that's a sign from God or whoever, right? But my initial intention was just to do private equity. I'm just going to buy agencies and put them together, and I'm going to skip the consulting, the coaching part for a lot of reasons. I was like, these guys got a bad name and I don't want to be like all of them out there. And, you know, they're out there making big promises and they can't deliver and whatever, you know, so I didn't want to go that route. But after thinking about it longer, it makes sense, right? And it's like, if I'm going to acquire or partner with them, why not help the ones that are starting out or the ones that are stuck or plateaued get to where they need to be? And then those are opportunities for us to partner together, right? And
it's
it
like
makes
an
sense.
incubator.
Yeah. And I mean, would you rather partner with somebody that you have a relationship with that you knew that has helped you, or somebody that just shows up with a check, right? I mean, if the check's big enough, maybe you take the check. But like, if you're staying in the business, you're going to be more likely to do that partnership and stay in the business with somebody you already know, like, and trust. Partnerships are hard, really hard. I mean, I'm sure you've had...
Even if you know them and like them.
Yeah, even if you know and like them. So when you're bringing in random partners or you're bringing in a big private equity company that's literally just coming in and they want to extract an ROI, like...
And they have authority because they wrote you a check,
yeah,
and it was yours to begin with.
How many private equity companies or VC companies end up buying and then they push the CEO out? Like, that's very common, right? The people get pushed out of their own company. So I because of that, I might actually never build a private equity company to the size that I think I might, right? Because I'm going to build this other arm where I'm going to be helping, lower revenue or lower EBITDA agencies. But overall,
which is my opinion, who needs the help?
Yeah.
That's who needs the help.
Yes. And I know that's what I needed, the help. I was in a shitty situation, and I wish someone like me would have grabbed my hand at that time and been like, look, here's things that I did that you don't have to do, or here's things you should do, because I would have made way more money way quicker.
Well, they didn't exist, or you wouldn't have listened anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Because to me, I always say that about myself. I wish someone would have done this. But even if you would have back then, I probably wouldn't have listened anyway. You think you would have listened?
I think I would have listened at that point, man, because I had already been humbled in business a lot. And I was, in that story, I left out that I had 3 gyms, full-time job, second baby on the way. And it's no wonder everything was mediocre. And then I had my agency. I had 15 different things going. And there was a point at which I told myself, I quit the job. I called my wife up. I said, I know you're pregnant. We're going to have no insurance. I'm quitting my job. And she just says, I love you. It'll work out, right? No resistance at all. And then I told her, and on top of that, I'm selling the gyms. And I'm going to take whatever I can get for them because I'm going all in on this thing. So my point there is that I do think I would have listened. When I was starting my gyms, no. But at that point, I would have listened because I had been humbled and I was all in on making it work. I didn't think I was above taking advice from anybody. I just wanted to do everything and anything I could to make it work. So I think I would have listened. And I did pay a couple coaches out there, and they were great and they've helped me, but they weren't good enough. I don't know another way to say it. They didn't
have a long enough lesson path.
Yeah, and a lot of them didn't even have proof. Like, I remember there was at one point, I was taking advice from a guy, and I'm like, what agency did you build before you started helping agency owners? And he's like, oh, this and this and this. And I looked into it a little bit, and I'm like, you didn't build jack shit. You failed. And then you attached on to another coach, and then you started helping other agency owners. So I don't think many of them existed. And then there was other guys that are bigger in the SMMA space or digital marketing space, but they were like so removed from it. They had gotten bigger, and their information was irrelevant at that point. So there was no one that was still close to it that can prove they had success, that wasn't full of shit, that could actually help me at that time, that I could find at least, right?
What's SMMA?
Social media marketing agency, digital marketing, same thing. Ty Lopez crowned that phrase or whatever.
So what would that include? Would that include media buyer?
Media buyer.
Copywriter?
Copywriters typically, yeah.
Landing page developer, tech ops, automation, GHL, Zapier, yep, all that. So again, a lot of people,
sales guys, closers, setters, client success managers, like your people that take care of the clients.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that they don't understand the word marketing is a big word.
Yeah.
And when people think digital marketing agency, digital meaning online,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You don't do billboards.
No.
But again, to me, you go take a $67 course from Ty Lopez, that don't make you a marketer.
No.
But
and more importantly, it doesn't make you a business owner or an entrepreneur.
But it does get you started. So again, like when people say, well, a lot of people say Ty's a scam. Like, dude, Ty's not a scam. He gives you real information.
Yeah.
It's like saying Real World and Andrew Tate's a scam.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, there's people on Real World that have paid their $49 a month or whatever it is and learned marketing on Real World that now make 7 figures.
Absolutely.
Because once you learn marketing, dude, you can't be broke.
No.
The question is are you wise enough yet to raise your income without raising your lifestyle? So you have now discretionary income to put into investments because that's the level you are now. Sure. Dude, you'll be 10 times richer than you are today in 10 years. And you're not even, you might be aware of it, but it's not real to you yet because you're just thinking like, dang, I could roll that up and I could do that. And then I could exit and get 2-3x just in the gap. And then, well, dude, now you'll start thinking, well, why do I only have to do that with these? Like you can do it with these too, but you're just up one level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it works the same. You're looking for companies. And by the way, folks, if you guys are a digital agency, you want his help, reach out. He'll help you grow and then he might partner with you, but you're also looking for partners.
Sure.
So if there's a digital agency, let's say stuck at 2-3 mil You know how to bump them out of that ceiling
Absolutely.
with systems and processes, and you'd be willing to buy them.
Yeah.
So like, dude, maybe you should take a bite out of the apple, sell to Gill, let Gill show you what to do, grow it, or just sell it.
Yeah. Well, that's another reason I like the way that I've structured my business, because, you know, I said at the beginning that I believe there was a lot of people out there that are there are a lot of people out there that are full of shit. And so I was worried about getting categorized with those people, right? And so I said, okay, what better way than to say, come work with me, I'll help you scale, and then I will partner with you, potentially buy, or we'll work out a deal, right? So if you fail, if you come work with me and you fail, which means I fail, there is no partnership. There is no viable agency. There is no asset that I want to be associated with. So if I can't deliver on what I say, if I can't truly help someone break that $2 million a year, or, you know, take somebody who has no experience like me and scale it up to 5-6 million annually, if I can't do that, then my whole, you know, business kind of crumbles in a way.
Well,
so I have to deliver.
Yeah, well, you would be incentivized to deliver.
I would be
sure.
incentivized to deliver. Yeah,
but you still do have a route to take, you know, even without doing that. Because again, that's how the M&A thing works. If you go buy a $2 million EBITDA company, let's say that the best they offer they could get is 3 times earnings, 4 times earnings. Let's go 5 times earnings.
Sure.
Well, if that were a $20 million EBITDA company, it might be able to get 8 times earnings. And if it were a $50 million EBITDA company, it could get 10 times earnings, right?
Sure.
So if I have a guy that's doing 2, the most he can get is 5, and I can offer him 7. Why? Because I'm going to get 10. In other words, all I got to do is roll some up under one roof, and bang.
Yeah.
Now I got one company doing 10 million, which is worth 8 times EBITDA.
Yeah.
Now, if I went and sold it for 8 times EBITDA underneath that one company, and I gave all the company owners, let's say 7, because, you know, I bought their company.
Yeah.
And the reason they sold it to me is because I gave them more than they could get on their own. But collectively we're worth more.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously that was
even if nobody increased anything.
Yeah, no.
They're worth more.
Yeah.
So you literally will make them worth more because you can do that.
Just come together. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what people don't get, dude.
Yeah,
even if he doesn't teach you how to increase shit. Let's say he just comes in, buys you, and makes you worth double because he knows how to roll it all up and sell it to a company.
Yeah, I have a video that there was about, I don't know, 50, 60 agency owners that is on YouTube where, you know, I went through all the upside and benefits of coming together as a portfolio and shared resources and teams and overlap and all these things. And the way I closed it off,
Egos stop that.
The way that I closed it out and said, even if I'm full of shit, even if none of this, there's no benefit, just by coming together, you're going to get 5x more, 7x more, 10x more, just by coming together. And this is not hypothetical. I mean, you know this at your level, like private equity and VC companies are doing this. This is all what they do every day.
It's their business.
This is their business. They do it all the time, right? So it's like, this isn't a foreign concept that I'm trying to convince you will work. This is something that happens every day, right? I forgot the number. It's in the presentation, but it's something like there's 11,000 private equity or VC transactions every year or every month, I believe it was. It's happening all the time.
That's what they're doing.
But I think that, you know, to be fair to those that are in the trenches and they're trying to grind, where I was in 2022, right? Like trying to build this agency, giving it all I can to get out from where I was, to change my life, to make a little bit of money. That's not in your, you're not looking at that, right? You're not thinking about that. Like, you're just trying to make more money and close deals and not get hacked or not let your company fall apart, you know, hire the right people. Like you're so far in it that even if someone like me or you has a conversation with them and says, this is a possibility, don't let this go. You're like, yeah. I got to fucking pay the bills. I got to make more money. I'm trying to, you know, I just want to go get a nice car. I want to upgrade my lifestyle. Like, so this is where I believe there's a lot of value in me, is like, I don't want to take that away from you. In fact, I need you to do that. I want you to run your business day to day. I want you to be in it. I want you to make sure that things are going well. Let me worry about all this stuff. Let me worry about buyers and, let me worry about roll-ups and mergers, and let me worry about these things for you so you don't have to. And at worst, even if you don't, become part of a portfolio, here's another step back from what we just said. Let's say I add no value. Let's say I don't allow you to become part of a portfolio. You join the portfolio, but like there's not companies you want to attach to or whatever. I'm still giving them a playbook on how to just increase their enterprise value by doing basic ass things like implementing SOPs, by making sure that their trailing 12-month financials look right. Like these are things that are, believe it or not, they're not looked at until it's time to sell. There's no planning with most agencies because of all the reasons I just gave you. They're so wrapped up in it. So it's like, I want to sell. Okay, now I go pull all my shit together and I give it to this buyer who's doing due diligence. And guess what they do? They offer you 2 to 3 million. And then in due diligence, they poke holes in all your shit. Your numbers, your this, your systems, your back-end paperwork, your organization. It's all a mess. And then they take whatever they offered you and they start chipping away at that. And they grind you down in the process until you take 600,000. And then 3 years later, you're looking going, the fuck? Like I put so much into that, right? So my goal is not only that we all benefit, but like I can help you avoid that.
Or worse, they are not interested.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you're too messed up, dude, they'll just walk away. Yeah. They'll say thanks anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your books are a mess. There's no organizational structure. Your freaking systems are in your head. Sure. Your whole business is relying on you and those two dudes.
Yeah.
You don't even have a business.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of profitable relationships.
Yeah, as soon as I buy this, the whole shit's going to fall apart and it's going to be worth nothing. No thank you, right? Like you want to make sure you're not in that position. But even the ones that do have something of value, they get just beat to the ground throughout that process. They've now taken their attention off of running the business. So now, the revenue starts to slip a little bit. And at the end of that process, they either take a lowball number because they're just so over it, or if that buyer walks away, their passion for the business just ends up being gone. And I'm not speaking from hearsay. Like I've seen this play out multiple times. I have a CEO that I'm partnered with now that he's a very intelligent, a good operator. And I had to talk this guy off the cliff multiple times. I'm like, you have a multi-million-dollar asset here and you're talking about giving this thing away or just walking away. You're out of your fucking mind. Don't do that, because to go build something again is going to be very hard. So like, let's get the reward and then let's go do something bigger. Right.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand you can 1031 exchange a business just as easily.
I just found that out, actually. I didn't know that. I recently found that out. I didn't know you could do it with anything other than real estate.
Well, you can.
I know.
And you're dumb if you don't.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is there's people right now with a $2 million EBITDA business. I could show them how to trade that for a $20 million EBITDA business pretty easily.
Sure. Yeah.
And so if you're not excited at 2 million because you've been there for 8 years, you might be re-excited with 20 million. Yeah. Well, how do I trade my $2 million net business for a $20 million net a month business? Aha! That's the question. But you can.
Yeah.
And I know exactly how.
Yeah.
In fact, this will probably drop after the event, but January 25th, I'm going to show some folks down at my Real Acquisitions Summit.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that at your new
downstairs?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, they took me down there, showed me around yesterday.
My little training center. That's not new.
Yeah. No? Okay.
No, it just looks new because I keep it tip top.
Everything looks new, man. It's beautiful here.
Well, thanks. I wanted a luxury, small, intimate, high-end education room. Yeah. So when people come in there, dude, it's not crowded. It's like small, and we're rolling up sleeves and we're getting results. But I'm putting them down there to show them, because there's people with businesses right now, and forget digital marketing agencies. See, again, that's what I'm saying. Like you're right now going, hey, I can do this with digital marketing agencies. Dude, you do a couple of those and now you're going to go, well, I don't really necessarily, it doesn't need to be a digital marketing agency. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It can be anything. Sure. And then it boils down to the facts, and it does it in real estate and any other company that I've seen or industry. It boils down to who can find the deal. Yeah. Well, usually we don't have time for that. Well, that's why you bring in all the soldiers and teach the soldiers how to go do that part, because you don't want to. So I could teach literally, and I'm sure you can. Now that's what I'm driving at. You can teach somebody, hey, how do you start your own agency, like from scratch, and get it up to 20 grand a month, which that agency that you can inspire and teach someone to start successfully might end up now exiting and then rolling in, and then now they're at this level of your mastermind or your, you know, inner circle or all the shit that goes along in that industry. But you're like me, dude. You don't like that industry because there's grime on it.
Yeah.
But dude, listen, my mission is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it.
Sure.
And I'm not there to worry about who's going to hate me for it.
Yeah.
You know, what if I had the cure to cancer and I was worried that everyone's going to think I'm a scammer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if you think I'm a scammer. Yes, there's scammers out there, but I'm not one of them. Yeah. And I think people can feel that about me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I while I was thinking that, when I was creating the structure for this business, I thought, well, how the hell do you prove them wrong, right? Well, you have something of value, you offer it to them, you let the ones who are interested come in, and then you let them see. Let them be the judge, right?
And then their results will sell the next batch.
Sure, right? And if you're not full of shit, like eventually, like there are going to be enough people, case studies, success stories that come from you that it's going to be undeniable. And the internet, there's a shitload of people. You know more than I do, but there's always going to be doubters and people that got some shit to say. It's just like whatever. You're right. You can't let that. You know. I've made efforts to build my social media recently, and it's like, you know, initially it's like you get the first couple comments, people talking shit, and you're like, fuck this guy, you know, and it's just like, you get to a point where you realize that's just part of the game, you know.
Well, you got to make a decision at some point.
Yeah.
And the decision that I made is, dude, I'm not going to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
So I might as well choose someone.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, my name was on that list. And as soon as I saw that I was an option, didn't have to ever think about that again. Yeah. Now I just make me happy. And if you're not, and I'm doing the right thing, which I am, and I'm ethical and have integrity and do what I say and over deliver, and like, you're a good dude, it's just so easy to let that shit roll off your back, especially when you know they don't even know you. Yeah. Like, you know, when strangers hate on me, that's even easier than when friends and family hate on me. But quite frankly, friends and family, you don't see that as much, and when you do, it's just jealousy and what they don't like about themselves.
Yeah, and usually they don't hate directly, right? It's like subtle shit they throw at you.
But
like,
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think that, you know, I put a post up about this the other day. It's like, if you have something of value to give to the world, whatever it may be, and you can help people, like, I feel like you have an obligation. Like with content, you have an obligation, because if you don't do it, there are going to be people who are full of shit that are out there doing it, and they're going to be the ones connecting with people. And then there's going to be more people that go, yeah, everybody is full of shit. Look, right? So I feel like I have an obligation. If I have something of value, and if I could really help people, and if I believe in what I'm saying, then, you know, I got to deal with some backlash or something.
Well, not only that, dude, but you've already done it.
Yeah, sure.
So at the end of the day, dude, when you want to look at a coach or a mentor or a path, has anyone else done it? Because if they haven't, well, then I'd second guess that path.
That's the first red flag, right? It's like just ask the person who's teaching you the thing if they've actually done it, and if they haven't,
well, then by the way, like fat trainers, we always say, right. You know, nobody wants a fat trainer. That doesn't mean the fat trainer doesn't know how to do it. Like, if you got fat right now, it doesn't eliminate your knowledge of fitness. Sure. You're just not living it and implementing it. And to me, that's the same thing. Like, I want to see that you've done it, and I want to see that you're in it. Like, you tell me, I mean, not everything, but you tell me you know how to do it, but you've never done it. I'm not going with you. Well, you better have done it for me to say, I'll follow you. Like, have you built a successful agency? Yep. I'll buy that course. I'll pay that mentorship fee. You know, you buy other companies. Yeah. I'll listen to you about acquisitions. You know, you've never, turned that into $1 trillion company. Well, then I'm not joining your diamond $1 trillion mastermind. Why? Well, because, dude, I want to see you do it.
Yeah. I mean, you could, right, someone could read all the books in the world or listen to every podcast or consume all the information out there, but there's nuance in doing things, right? In creating the business and going through it. There's there's things that you just can't learn on paper. And I also believe that there's relevancy as a factor. So I think there are people that have done the thing but haven't done it recent enough to give you valuable information because things have changed. And in digital marketing and a world that I'm in, it changes fucking fast, right? So I have agencies I still own. I talk to the CEOs weekly. Like, we're talking about challenges they're facing today. We're solving problems, we're scaling, we're getting better. So it's like, I'm not this guy that built this agency, sold it, made money, and now I just want to make money showing you what I did 3 years ago. It's like, I'm still in this. I still believe in it. I love the industry. I think there is crazy upside with AI. People can make serious money if they figure it out, and there's untapped niches. We're talking about niches and wide and this and that. Like, we're talking about funds, private equity funds, right? VC funds. What are the number one problem that they have? VC funds, private equity funds. What do you think of the number one and number two problems?
I'm guessing, but
Sure.
I would say finding the deal.
Sure, that's one.
And then finding the operators, which would be part of why it's a deal. So
yeah, sure, yeah, finding the deal and getting the investors, getting money, right?
Well, money's the easy part.
Most of them, if you connect with any private equity company, they spend most of their efforts sourcing deals and raising capital. That's where the majority of their efforts running their business goes into. So if a marketing agency can solve those problems for them, how valuable are you, right? Marketing agencies out there charge $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Some of them charge more, the bigger ones, right? If you can solve those problems for private equity funds and venture capital funds, they have a shitload of money and they will pay you handsomely to solve those problems.
100%.
But
so will any business.
Yeah, anybody, right? If you could solve those type of problems. But like, there is not a lot of digital marketing agencies in that niche. And in fact, when I first sold my agency, that was the route I was going to go. I'm like, I'm going to rebuild what I just built for chiropractors, but I'm going to do it for funds, private equity funds, crypto funds, real estate funds.
Well, if it works, why didn't you? Why don't you?
Because I think there's a bigger picture here. There's a bigger picture. You said, right, you asked if I could take somebody that has no experience and show them how to make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. Absolutely. And sometimes I think there's more upside in those people than somebody that's already making $1 million or $2 million a year and is stuck in their ways a bit, or isn't open to maybe trying things differently, or has their business already set up in a certain way. I like the idea and the challenge of taking somebody who is me when I started, right? Ambitious, open-minded, just wants to fucking figure something out where they can make money, right? Because I think they're like a blank canvas to me, and I can just listen to me, take whatever talents you have, whatever work ethic, whatever ambition you have, and listen to me. I got you. I already been through this, right? Like, I've been there. Just listen. Those people, I think, sometimes have more potential. You can set the core principles from day one with them and build it the right way. Once again, if I could go back and rebuild my agency, not only would I have made more money quicker, right now it would be 10 times bigger because I would have done things differently. So it's like, if I can go find that person who's starting out, and I could say, not only am I going to show you everything, we're going to go after funds. We're going to go after private equity. We're going to go after venture capital. Okay. Like, I got you. Like, this makes a lot of sense. The upside is huge there. And then I get to take equity. I get to go do it again. I get to roll up this portfolio. They get to win, right? It's like honestly, like, this might sound like bullshit to you. It's more rewarding to show somebody else to do that than me do it. I still want money from it. I'm not right. I'm not going to do it for free. Like, I want a piece of that, but we can win together. We can both get a piece together. And I have enough money right now in life. I'm good. Like, I was poor for 30 some years of my life. I'm good. I don't need things, right? My family's good. We're comfortable. So of course I want to make more, right? That's how you keep score in this world. But I'm good. So there has to be something else. There has to be something else that I'm chasing. And Tony Robbins has this it's like 6 or 7 core emotions or needs or whatever. Have you ever heard those?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, I for so long was, and still today, am like stuck on significance. And what I, realized talking to my wife is that, like, you never, if you're chasing significance, you're never going to have enough of it, right? Unless you understand where you're getting it from and you can just check those boxes. So I'm trying to shift that to giving back, to truly giving back. And I do feel good when I give back and when I help people and when I guide people and people listen to me and, you know, take advice and then they go actually do something with it. So that's why I didn't just go fucking do it myself.
Yeah, but that's a good reason. And again, that's why people that are listening to this can feel energy. Dude, the real ones you can always, I think, tell. Now, again, there's some slickies that, you know, slide them by you. But at the end of the day, man, I think if people want something more than they have, they all they have to do is, you know, figure out what that looks like, find someone who's already done it, do what they did, and 9 times out of 10 they'll get what they got. Like, sure. They got to keep it simple. But a lot of people, they won't do what they did. They just want what they got.
Yeah. Or they take pieces of it and they alter it the way that they want it to be. And they, you know, it's like, oh, Brad.
Yeah, but it doesn't match.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you know,
like
listen, I want to be in shape, but I don't want to work out every day.
Yeah.
I want to be in shape, but I don't want to skip the desserts. When this dude that's in shape, that's what he does. Yeah. I don't want to do that. Well, then it doesn't work. But if I said, hey, I want to look like that guy, do what that guy does. Boom. Now I'm looking like that guy. And it's like, dude, that wasn't very difficult. But why did I spend 30 years why didn't I learn this earlier?
Yeah.
So when it comes to business, man, if I'm out there in the digital marketing space, now that I know Gill Valerio, I'm going to DM you at least. Like, you should get flooded with DMs when this drops of digital marketers or people interested in digital marketing, which should be everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you're
people just looking to replace their income, like or
add an additional one, dude. You can do that shit part-time and just create enough income to freaking pay your mortgage.
And then you make the leap when it makes sense. I mean, that's what I did. You know, I had the job, I started this up, and it's never a comfortable moment. You're never like, oh, it's the perfect time to quit the job and go here. I mean, I had to call my wife when she was pregnant and say, we're gonna have no insurances. Are you okay with this? But it's almost more for those people, because the one, again, and not to get on like a soapbox here, but man, I tried so many things for so long. And I had a good job. I worked for Comcast at one point, sold fiber optic deals to residential, you know, $200 million, $300 million buildings in Chicago. And I made decent money. We were okay, but it was like, I was dead inside. And I was like, I know I am capable of more, but I have zero clue how to get the fuck out of this life that I'm trapped in. And I heard something recently. It's, damn it, I'm going to forget what it's called. It's like region beta complex or something like that. You can Google it and the shit will come up. But it's people that, have you ever heard this term? Region beta complex or something like that? No? It's people that a worse situation is better than a better situation, because people that are in a slightly better situation are comfortable, right? Like, if you're making a little bit of money, 150, 200 grand, you know, you're decent. Your boss is kind of cool, but kind of fucks with you. And you get in your car and you live the same, you drive to the office, you do the same shit every day. You're comfortable enough that you are not motivated or not driven to take action. It would be better if you were in a worse position, because you would be more driven to get out of that. So it's like someone that lives in an apartment that has a little bit of mold. This was the example that I heard from someone say. Someone that lives in an apartment has a little bit of mold. They're like, that's not bad, right? If that apartment was overrun with mold, you'd be like, I got to get the fuck out of this situation, right? Yeah. So my situation was like okay enough to where I wasn't pushed hard enough until I just was so, I waited a long time, man. I'm not young anymore, at least.
Well, a lot of the reason people do that, bro, is because they start out with nothing and they're willing to do whatever, which is, more abundance alignment, because they're willing to risk, they're willing to try, they're willing to do, they're shaking the dice, man. They got nothing to lose.
Yeah, what do you got? Yeah, what do you got?
So they're all in.
Yeah.
But then they start getting something.
Yeah.
Like you said, they get to 150, then they get comfortable. Well, it's not only the comfort that stings them, it's the fear of losing.
Going back.
Yeah, it's like, what, I'm going to look stupid if I lose all this.
Yeah.
I better not risk as much.
Yeah.
Now that I got something to lose, I better be cautious, and I better think, and I better slow down, and I better wait, and I better really be sure. And in reality, that's not what they did to get them there.
No.
They were freaking totally different, but now they got something to lose, so now they're afraid.
Yeah.
And that fear paralyzes people, and they can't figure out why they can't get to the next level. And it's because ultimately, because I think everything's ultimately This,
I agree.
this right here.
Yeah.
Because like, dude,
there's some scarcity in their mind.
Well, that's exactly what happens. So they were operating with abundance, and now they're operating with scarcity. People are like, well, how's that possible? Well, when you have nothing to lose,
there's only one way to go.
Yeah,
that's it.
But now you got something to lose.
Yeah,
now you're afraid to lose it. That's scarcity based. So people's mindset starts out going abundant, and they start to win. Once they win, now they're scared, and their decisions change, and their thoughts change, and their frequency changes, and now they start getting more things to fear. And next thing you know, they're miserable, and they don't know why. They're achieving, and they know there's more, but I don't want to lose all this. Well, dude, to me, it's a mindset. So like, if I said to you, dude, I'm going to give you an Xbox with all the games, the internet connection, the 98-inch TV, everything. You're going to be freaking dialed in. Everyone gets excited. But you walk in and everything's there except the controller. No controller anywhere to be found. What good is all that?
Yeah, it's worthless. Yeah.
Dude, you're done.
Yeah.
But if you figure out your mind is the controller, and if you can get a hold of this, now you're in business, right? That's all it is people need to get control of their minds.
Yeah.
And then once you get control of your mind, you're like, what's this do? What's that do? So now you have to master the controller. Well, some people don't know that R2 jumps and R1 ducks until you get good at ducking and running. Yeah. So again, dude, the mind has advanced features and buttons all over it, and most people never ever get to figure those out.
Yeah, I know this is probably a hard thing for someone to believe that's listening, but if I can make it a little bit easier, I've been in really bad situations and poor. I've been in mediocre situations with a little bit of money, enough to get by, and I've had an abundant life that I have now. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, the bad and the mediocre life are not that much different. So that is what ultimately triggered me, because I told you, like, you get stuck, right? So what if I was in that mediocre life? What pushed me and drove me enough to do something? And it was, I came to the conclusion that my bad situation was not any different than my mediocre, and I was fucking miserable mediocre. And so I was like, let's go. Whatever happens. That's why I quit the job while the wife was pregnant. That's why I sold the gyms. In fact, pretty much gave the gyms away.
You went back to rolling them bones.
I was like, whatever happens, man. I was like,
risk.
Yeah. I mean, it's the cliche. Like, who wants to wake up at 75 years old and go, oh, shit. Like, damn, like
I could have done all this other shit.
Yeah. Like, at least try. Right. Like, again, it sounds like a
cliche.
Yeah. A motivational story. But like, the truth is, I would have been very sad as an old man if I wouldn't have tried. If I tried and failed, at least I could be on that deathbed and just say, fuck, man, at least I gave it. I did, like, truly give everything that I had. Now, I'm not talking about like, oh, take a little chance and then like pull back. I'm talking about all in, whatever happens. I told my wife, I use this multiple times with my wife and friends that are close to me, my brother. When I started my agency, I was in my gym office. My third gym, I built a little tiny office, and I would work on my marketing agency in the gym office, and I'd close all the blinds and lock the door because I didn't want any gym people to fucking bother me, because I was just trying to get this marketing agency to work. And I would tell everybody, I'm willing to die in this office chair. I have kids at home, or a daughter and a kid on the way. I'm willing to die in this office chair, as many hours as it takes, as much stress as it takes, whatever it takes to change my situation, to change my life. Like, I can't allow this to continue. And I was serious in that moment. I meant that. Like, I was like, whatever, because I knew if I continued how I was going, I was going to feel dead anyway at some point. Right?
Yeah, but that's why you're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and when you turn around and tell someone that, they're like, more motivational bullshit.
Yeah. Or they're just like, it doesn't have to be that extreme. It doesn't have to it's like sometimes it does. Right. And I don't think I know that I'm not gifted in any way. So I was like, nothing is, and I had to assume I was going to have zero luck, and I wasn't gifted at all. So what was my way out? It was
Work.
You know, it was work, man. It was work and learn and listen and shut the fuck up and bury the ego. And, you know, you and I were just talking earlier about taking advice from people. It was like, there were people giving me advice that I was like, should I be listening to these people? I'm like, fuck it, man. They've already had some success. So I have to shut up and listen. I have to just try this. And I showed up to every call and I did everything I could, you know, until I got to a certain level. And I'm like, all right, I don't have to listen to them anymore. Now I need to, you know, level up and listen to other people. But it wasn't just like my first business that I did that in. I fed the gyms, you know, I had fell on my face several times. So what I don't want to happen too is I don't want somebody to try to start a marketing agency, you know, whether through me or someone else, and just think like, time to get rich, you know.
Oh, I paid him. It's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, there was a lot of years, and you know, everybody when I was in this group, there were other agencies that would reach out to me, and they would say, "What's the secret, man? Like, what did you do? Like, tell me, did you set up your ads a certain way? What's your sales process? What did your pitch deck look like?" And I'm like, I failed for so long. Like, I don't know what, like, I just, like, everything I just told you about being motivated and just driven no matter what, like, I went, like, sometimes you just have to go through the ringer, right? Like, you want to listen, like, that's what I'm going to try to do, help you skip all the pain that I went through. But you got to go through it a little bit, right? You can't just completely skip it. And even if you did, if you personally, like, everything you have now, would it mean as much if you didn't have the sleepless nights and have the stress and have the bad things happen? Like, would you take a shortcut knowing what you know now?
Yes.
Going back, you would take the shortcut.
Hell yeah.
You would have as much or more, but you wouldn't appreciate it the same way.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I personally would. Most people wouldn't. Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Yes, I would, because I'm an enlightened being, my friend. Like, I would.
From this moment on, I believe you. But that original, you know, and again, I don't
appreciate it anymore because I worked for it so hard. Like, if you walked up to me when I was 30 and said, Brad, I can skip all the experience and just drop $1 billion in your lap, or you could grind for it.
Of course, you would say yes. But
in a heartbeat, and I'd appreciate it.
Why do all these celebrities'
equally.
Kids get all fucked up? Why do they die? Why do they overdose?
Because they're entitled.
Why did, you know, Roman emperors' children just go seek debauchery and, you know, sex and every, right? Because they didn't have to earn jack shit. So
that's not why, dude. That's not why. That contributes.
Sure.
Like, we could get a whole debate going in the comments.
I like it. Yeah.
To me, that is a good, like, reason why it may have happened, but it's not necessarily why it happened. It happened because that little spoiled brat, dipshit, soft, pansy ass, no experience, whiny, entitled kid, right, chose poorly. Period. Because if that kid, and by the way,
there are Trump's kids.
I've seen rich kids
kids
kill it because they were raised properly and they were smart and they chose.
But you just said it. They were raised properly.
But they chose the right path. Yeah. They're still rich. So being rich and not affected negatively doesn't necessarily mean you're fucked, because
no, of course not.
Because
there's exceptions to everything.
So I mean, but generally speaking, I agree with you that when you have no adversity and you have no pain and you have no suffering, how can you grow and develop? And the growth and development will lead you to where you're going. That's obvious. I tell people that, like, you got to be willing. And here's what I say: let's say you built a ladder out of the rat race for these people.
Yeah.
Which you did. You have.
Sure. Yeah.
You literally have the ladder out of the rat race for digital marketers and other people. Yeah. So if you're, you know, busting your ass with a shovel or on a landscaping crew or in a, you know, you're throwing freight at a freaking grocery store at midnight and making sure all the cocoa pebbles are lined up nicely. Fast food. Dude, all you need to do is realize what he's saying. You could make a decision. Call him, learn how to build a digital marketing agency, go build one, because it's not if, it's how long does it take?
Sure.
Go build one and roll it up and start, boom, and 2 years from now you can be like, dude, I thought he was full of shit when I heard him on that podcast. Whose decision was it? Because somebody's going to decide to call you, bro, and do the work and everything you mentioned, and some aren't.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
The difference can be the circumstances. And I'll say it like this. If, and not to go here, but I'm going to go here. If you are aligned with God, he is going to he doesn't care about how much money you or me have or anybody. If he's looking out for you, he's putting you in the best possible situation and he's guiding your life. Okay.
With intention.
With intention. If he would have given me the success that I have now 10 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here with you. My
You
life
assume.
would be, I know.
You don't know.
I know.
You can't
Look
know.
at me. I know.
You can't know.
I know.
Although if me and you were smoking a cigar right now and you said, Brad, if you got a bunch of money when you were that age.
Hey, wait, you said 10 years from now, you know that I'm going to be much, much more wealthy. How do you know? You know?
Well, because of your actions and your habits and your mindset.
My actions and my habits and my mindset 10 years ago with money would have led me down a fucking terrible path.
I would join you in that. Meaning, dude, if I got money when I was 30, I say probably because I could have been here still.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, dude.
So the struggle and everything you went through allowed you to be where you are.
I don't know if it was the struggle.
Yeah, well, that's maybe a bad example.
It's the lessons.
Let's just say the circumstances.
Like, dude, drugs. I used to freaking be okay and willing to try some drugs.
Yeah, me too.
Now, I don't do no drugs. And it's not because I went through tough times or anything. It's because you grow up and mature. I think maybe God waited.
But you learned something, right? You learned something.
I think God waited.
You learned that those things were going to not give you the end result that you wanted.
Yes.
Right?
And so I think God waited to give me the level of success that he thinks I'm ready for because like you, dude, I think if I would have got money back then like I have now, I probably would have made some really stupid decisions.
Yeah.
From not knowing.
Sure.
From not knowing though.
Yeah.
Not from the lack of adversity. Because again, I had adversity since day one.
Yeah.
But
and you still have adversity now, right? It's not like we wake up and everything's easy.
I
right?
seek it.
Yeah.
Like most people don't understand. Like you should wake up looking for problems, and problems are opportunities.
Yeah.
So some people wake up and avoid opportunities because it's disguised as problems. Yeah. And it's like when I tell people that, they're like, "What are you talking about? You look for problems? Nobody wants problems. Problems are opportunities.
Yeah.
Because if you can solve those problems successfully and for less money than someone else can, that's called commerce. That's called products and services. Like I could sell you X so I can do it quicker. Just like if I want to start a digital marketing agency or I want my kid, I'm going to go to you and say, dude, how much is your deal? And I'm going to pay you and say, okay, that's your student. Like, you better listen to that guy.
Yeah.
Why would I say, hey, go figure it out for yourself and go through all the struggle and adversity?
Yeah.
You don't need to,
that
dude.
kid's still going to go through it, though.
They're going to go through a version. But, dude, if you warn me and I'm prepared and I'm aware and I'm awake and I have resources, I'm not going to have the same adversity.
Yeah. I tell here's a good example. I tell my daughter all the time, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, right? And I can't just leave it at that, though. If I just left it at that. Do you
drink, smoke, or do drugs?
No.
See, you're leading by example.
Yeah. But if I just left it at that, and also just so I don't sound like I'm full of shit, like I'll have a cocktail every now and then with someone or whatever. Me and my wife will go have a glass of wine, but like I don't drink, not like I used to. But I have to follow it up and explain to her, right? So if I was coaching her and my job was to coach her to not do those things, I can't just tell her, don't do these things. I have to say, because if you do these things, the result of them is going to be X, Y, Z.
Eventually, for sure.
Eventually. You're going to be less healthier. You're going to be less happy. You're probably going to make less money, right? Like you're going to attract less people that can improve your life or add value to it. So
do things that you regret because alcohol,
Yeah.
Dude, alcohol, boy, I used to frickin' party.
Me too. I talk to my wife about this all the time, and I believe that like that for like my 20s, because I always had these sparks of inspiration to build a business. I tried all this shit, clothing companies, flipping, car wholesaling. Like it was somewhere down in there. The entrepreneur was down in there, right? I think the alcohol just completely washed it out or just like muted it, right? And, she wouldn't care. I don't think if I said this, but I met my wife. It was just the most amazing human I've ever met. And I mean that. And we got to the point where she left. We were living together. We weren't married. She left. And when she decided to come back, she was like, this has to stop. And I was like, no, this has to stop, the drinking, because it was like I'd turn into a different person. It'd be horrible, you know? And so when she came back, we agreed that we were going to be together, but we were going to quit. Cause our thing was like, hey, you know, we'd be normal on the weekdays, but we go get fucked up on the weekends, enjoy each other, have fun. But you know how that goes. That turns into a horrible thing, right?
Well, there's a few good nights in there.
Yeah. Oh, there was a lot of good nights in there. And I miss it sometimes, right? And, you know, but we're more responsible now. We'll come to Vegas. We'll enjoy it. You know, we'll hang out. We'll go out or whatever. But there was like, I remember this clearly. There was like, it was like 3 months, probably about 3 months of like not drinking. This like wave of clarity came over me. And it was like my brain worked differently. My energy felt different. You know, it was like, and things started getting better from that moment on, and they've gotten better and better. And you know, at that time I was still working a job, but I went from being like the 4th best sales guy to crushing fucking everybody. And then it was like, you know, the sales leaders were like, here's all the big deals. And then I was just like signing these big deals, you know? And so yeah, that cutting alcohol out dramatically changed my life. And I was never, you know, I dabbled in things before that, but that was my thing. And my whole family, love them all. My entire family, there's not one person that isn't a raging alcoholic. Both parents, aunts, uncles, cousins.
Raging?
Italian raging. I'm talking.
So how's Christmases for you?
Fucking insanity. Parties, insanity. Like growing up was insane. And I have, you know, Italian family. We're big on, we had a lot of cousins and we all live together. We all get together and, you know, they're great and they're all loving, but it was an environment of dysfunction all the time. And that was what I grew up in and that was all I knew. So it was like you turn into a teenager and you're like, this is just what we do. We drink, we get fucked up, and then you start doing it, you know. And it was from a very young age, like probably like 14, like a lot of drinking all the way till that moment with my wife.
To me, like that's normal.
That was normal. Yeah.
Yeah. My excuse was lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, cause like the reason I went and did what I did was for money. And if you showed me better money, I'll quit what I'm doing and jump to the next thing with better money. And then I'll jump to the next thing with better money. All you had to do is like, tell me I'm going to make more money. I'll go give it a shot because I was looking to make a bunch of money.
Yeah. But how's that related to alcohol? What are you talking about?
Well, because the lack of knowledge that I had at the time was, if you really want money, you know,
just take whatever's in.
We'll just solve problems for people.
Yeah.
So then when I started like trying to help other people solve problems, that's when all the money started coming.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. I was focused on me, trying to get me rich, and I could never get above like 500-600 grand was like the highest I ever got.
Yeah.
And dude, that was working 70, 80 hours a week, and it was for other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't stop and go, hey, I'm making him rich, I'm gonna make myself rich. Yeah. You know, I didn't do it that way. I just helped somebody, felt good helping them, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna start a company helping people. And boom, that started making me more money. Yeah. And then over time, meeting all these different people and learning all the things I've learned, it wasn't necessarily rough. Like, again, I mean, I've been homeless on a beach before, but if you boil it down, dude, I could have went home. I didn't want to go home. Yeah. I could have made different choices and not been homeless. I chose to be homeless. I chose to sleep on that beach. Wasn't that rough? And people are like, dude, you were homeless. I'm like, it was a fucking beach, bro. Like, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. And I chose
it wasn't Chicago. Yeah.
And I chose to be there, which was the scariest thing. And see, I always bring it back to choice, because at the end of the day, dude, it's choice.
But did you have time when you were
like, you chose what you chose, that's why you're here. So your choices got you here. Sure. And your choices could have not gotten you here. Sure. So who's responsible? You are. You made the choice. You made the choice to think it was a scam, and you made the choice to pay the fee and do it. It's always a choice with people. Yeah. And I don't care what's the scenario. Now, there's always an exception, but I'm talking about generally, if someone can just say, hey, I need to make better choices. There doesn't need to be the adversity. No. There just needs to be the awareness. Like, I don't need pain to grow. I need knowledge because I value it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I could be driving a random day in my car from my office, driving home, and out of nowhere, I just get overwhelmed with a sense of gratitude. And I can't believe this is my life. I love my kids. I love my wife. I love where I live. I love everything about it, right? I really don't believe I would feel that way if I skipped some of those things.
If you were given it.
And not if I was given it, but even if it was easier, right?
That may be true.
Yeah. So I just think, I believe that God, you are right. You have a choice. God kind of opens 2 doors, 3 doors, 4 doors, and was like, here, man, which one do you want to walk through? Right. And so you do have a choice in that sense. But I felt very guided at times, and because of that, now reflecting on it, I'm just grateful, man. I'm good, And you brought up a good point too, just tying out something I wanted to say about value and money and all that. It's another reason why I think I'm excited about what the future holds, and I feel like I'm dangerous now, if that's the word, because when I built my marketing agency, it was from a selfish perspective. Of course I wanted to get my clients, results and all that, but I wanted more money. I needed money. I needed to figure it out. So it was very me. And that can become kind of, you could just associate your personality with that, and that's just who you are. Now I really feel like I want to give value. I'm smart enough to realize if I give value, I'm going to make more money, but I also just want to give value. And I'm in a position now
where I'm
called
mature.
Yeah. And I'm in a position where I'm good, so I can do it, and the stress is off a little bit, right? I still am driven, and I want a lot more, and I want to create more, but yeah, I want to give to other people.
Well, folks, you heard it here. Gill Valerio, I would say if I was in your shoes and I'm listening to this, hey, if you want opportunity, he's got that for you personally. Help you get out the rat race. If you're a business, sounds like Elevate knows how to help chiropractors specifically.
Yeah, I got a gym agency too. They're phenomenal. They work with huge franchises.
So fitness or chiropractors. But I'll bet you, if any of you that wants to drive more leads to your business, I'll bet you the same shit applies to a lot more than just those two.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, I appreciate you coming, dropping bombs. Folks, we're back to the bombs word. I was going to go knowledge for a minute because of suppression, but I found out not only is my account not suppressed, it's actually trusted. And that goes a long way. Trust, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like it's maybe our new presidency that you could use that word again now, right?
Well, I'm going to have you back on another episode, but only if the bomb squad blows me up and says, "Dude, get that dude back. He's got knowledge we want." Sure, but until next time, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
And until next time. Oh, by the way, if you guys don't know where to follow him, at Gill Valerio on TikTok, which may be done.
Yeah, forget TikTok. Instagram, it's all Gill Valerio. Instagram's official Gill Valerio. Yeah, official Gill Valerio. YouTube channel's Gill Valerio. Facebook, wherever. LinkedIn, all of it.
Google him, you'll find him. Yeah, follow him.
And if an agency owner is out there and they want to learn about what we do, can I share my URL?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Join Limitless Agency, spelled normal. JoinLimitlessAgency.com.
Boom.
Boom.
Till next time, keep it real.